In this video, I'm going to demonstrate to you how it's possible to evaluate your answers around each of Amazon's leadership principles with a pretty straightforward approach. As you'll see next, there is some valuable insight that you can obtain from these exercise. So to demo you the functionality of these interesting reports, I added an example, learning operations planning algorithms. This is coming from one of my training programs, and you'll see here in the behaviors, I added all of Amazon's leadership principles, so we see how well they fit into each of these. So first I'm going to go through the example and then through the report. I was fortunate enough to receive a promotion as a director of worldwide store operations for a major retailer in Turkey. This was based on my exceptional track record in managing teams locally. However, the role presented unforeseen challenges as I discovered the critical need for a specialized skill set in operations planning algorithms. These algorithms were integral to making informed decisions, and I realized that delegating responsibility wasn't a viable option. Realizing the importance of taking ownership, I made the proactive decision to enroll in a comprehensive 6-month evening school program dedicated to acquiring a deep understanding of these complex tools. During this intensive period of learning, I immersed myself in studying operations planning algorithms, their intricacies, and their practical applications. Through rigorous coursework, hands-on projects, and collaborating with industry experts, I took full ownership of developing a solid foundation in this complex matter. By investing time, effort, and personal commitment to acquire this specialized skill, I successfully navigated through unforeseen ambiguity in my new role. Right, so this would be the example. Now, if we evaluate this example for each of the leadership principles, you'll see here the behavioral fit. Right, so based on the provided answer, the candidate demonstrates strong alignment with the following behaviors. So it says customer obsession number 8. Right, but before that, just to explain to you, this report will score that answer for each of Amazon's leadership principles on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, I want you to understand that AI or OpenAI is primarily a marketing tool, right? So when it comes to giving you precise answers on whether an answer does or does not fit into something, it's not designed for such purposes. However, as you see next, it's a super useful tool if you want to see what are the best principles that you want to use this example for. Right? So customer obsession will be an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, so the candidate does not directly mention customer obsession in their answer. Right? So regardless of the number that it's shown here, the AI identifies that this is not customer obsession actually. Right? Still, it has some links with this principle, so it's scored pretty high. But let's go through each of these numbers and we'll draw some conclusions in the end. I write a lot. Right? So the candidate acknowledges the need for a specialized skill set and takes ownership of acquiring it, indicating a strong desire to be right and make informed decisions. Right? So the desire to make informed decisions doesn't mean that he actually took decisions. So this does not talk about dealing with ambiguous situations, but rather with a single decision to learn operation planning algorithms. So I write a lot. Again, it's not one of them. Have backbone, disagree, and commit. So the candidate shows backbone by recognizing the need for a specialized skill set and committing to acquiring it, even though it presented unforeseen challenges. Now, have backbone, disagree, and commit, again, this is not of the core principles highlighted through such stories. So still it scores high, but as you'll see next, is not as high as you might think. Number 4, invent and simplify. Number 6, so it's a 6. Obviously, the candidate did not invent any operations planning algorithm, so as you'd expect, it's not an invent and simplify. Think big, same thing, does not explicitly mention thinking big in their answer, but their commitment to acquiring specialized skills suggests a willingness to think beyond their current role, right? Bias for action. The candidate demonstrates a strong bias for action by enrolling in a comprehensive evening school program to acquire the necessary skills rather than delegating responsibility, right? So this answer could be a candidate for bias for action, right? Which I believe makes sense in the context of this example, especially I know personally this candidate, and I know how his stories. This was actually a modified version of the story, but that story itself did prove a story that was strong in bias fraction, because they just took on the new role and they had to move on quickly to ensure that they had success. So bias fraction, yes. Earn the trust of others does not directly mention earning the trust of others in their answer, right? So it's not earn trust. You see, it's a 7. Notice here bias fraction is a 9, and 9 would be the maximum we've got so far. Hire and develop the best. Right? So the candidate does not mention hiring or developing others in their answer, which is true, right? Strive to be your best employer. Again, it's not one of them. It's not a relevant one to this example. Frugality, number 6. The candidate does not mention frugality in their answer, right? So it's not a frugality. Insist on the highest standards. We cannot know they insist on the highest standards by learning operations planning algorithms, even if, it would be a first step in the right direction, if I may call it so. Dive deep. Dive deep, it's more likely to be an appropriate principle for this answer. However, it's not really diving deep into details, so we cannot qualify it as a perfect one. Success and scale bring responsibility. So the candidate recognizes unforeseen challenges, so on and so forth, but it's really not this principle. Learn and be curious, right? So learn and be curious. Learning operations planning algorithms. Again, very interesting one. The candidate demonstrates a strong desire to learn and be curious by enrolling in a comprehensive evening school program to acquire specialized skills. So it's definitely a learn and be curious. Deliver results. So the candidate delivers results by successfully acquiring a deep understanding of operations planning algorithms through their proactive decision to enroll comprehensive evening school program. Now, a little bit of background here. So by learning these operations planning algorithms, this would enable them to deliver results. So maybe it's not the best principle to highlight through such an answer, but still it does showcase a little bit of desire here if the answer will be tuned up. Finally, number 16, ownership, which as you can see is a 10. So the candidate demonstrates a strong sense of ownership by recognizing the need for a specialized skill set, taking proactive steps to acquire it, and successfully navigating through unforeseen challenges. Right? So ownership would be the leadership principle that's the most appropriate to talk about, to use this story for in a context of a job interview. So in my opinion, given the answer and knowing a little bit more the background or the backstory of this answer and the candidate, I really do believe that it's quite useful what this report generates, especially with the ownership. It's definitely an ownership example, and the AI used for this report definitely recognize it. So there you go. This would be my example on how can you test your answers using my reporting systems and specifically for Amazon's leadership principles. I hope you found this useful, and thank you very much for watching.